the 3 a.m. Eastern Time candlestick on November the 6th. Just so happens to fall on this day. You can do this anytime, any day, any currency pair. It's going to be very similar results. But I want you to write down 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Everything we do is surrounded by the 3 a.m. Eastern Time candlestick. Now, these are 1-hour time frames, so by the time this candlestick closes, it will be 4 a.m. So this is the 3 to 4 a.m. candlestick. When your candlestick closes, what you're going to do is you're going to place an entry buy 10 pips above this high, 74.84. And an entry buy order, write this down, plus 10 pips above high. You're then going to place an entry sell order 5 pips below the 3 a.m. close candlestick. So this low is 39.34. Entry sell. Now, it's important that you understand your orders because an entry order or entry buy or entry sell is not an active order. It's a pending order. You're basically saying to the market, hey, market, I need you to either cross over this green line or this green line to enter me into the market. Now, you can choose your lot size beforehand. It can be a micro, mini, or standard, or multiple standards, or a mixture of all three. That's completely up to you. But we have to have this market trigger set. There's really nothing to do now other than for the market to break out. So the market breaks out bearish. And what happens is the market enters into the entry sell. When your entry sell is hit, it automatically becomes an active order, which means you're now inside of a market sell. And a market sell means you're physically in the market. You actually have an open trade. The very first thing you want to do, write this down, is cancel the opposite order. That's the first thing you do. Get rid of that opposite order. You do not want that. The second thing you want to do is place a stop. Now, when selling, you're going to place your stop 5 pips above the close of the 3 a.m. candlestick wick high. So stop is plus 5 pips above your 3 a.m. candlestick wick high. A stop, for those of you that do not know, it is a predetermined risk factor. You're basically saying if the market does go against you, that's where you're going to close out with a predetermined loss. Now, what you're going to do now is you're basically going to make this very simple. You're going to measure your risk, and in this scenario, your risk is 45 pips. Your limit or your target will at least always be 50 pips away. It will be first base, we call it 8485. 8485. We have a 50 pip target. That is our first base. 50 pips equals first base. Now, when you become an educated trader, you will have the ability to push out your limits. And actually, you can go after 100, 200, 300, 500 pips, whatever you want. But you have to be educated to be able to find those different targets. The reason why we choose 50 pips because it's first base. The market has an extremely high winning percentage chance of at least moving 50 pips more times a month than it does moving 75, 100 pips, 200 pips in a day. And so this is going to get you to first base. Now, if you can get to first base consistently enough, hey, we can still make it to the big leagues, right? Consistency is key. So every candlestick represents 1 hour of trading. We're selling this market. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Within 4 hours, the market hits 50 pips. To put that into perspective, within 4 hours, you just made $500 US trading a standard position. So let me grab your attention. Let me ask you a simple question. And what I want you to do is be able to answer my questions, because if you can answer my questions correctly, by all means, you should be able to do this starting tomorrow, because these are the same steps over and over and over again. So here's my question. Of my 3 a.m. close candlestick, how many pips above my 3 a.m. candlestick am I going to place my entry buy? If you can answer this correctly, then you can do this starting tomorrow. Entry buy, 10 pips above the high. So if you answer 10 pips by Karen, Bradley, Noel, Keith, Doug, Chris, Dale, Dennis, Joseph, James, and everyone else, you're absolutely correct, and you should be able to do this tomorrow. How many pips below my entry, my candlestick low, am I going to place my entry sell? 5 pips below. So the entry sell is 5 pips below the low. And now, if you did not get this answer correct, by all means, write it down because I'm going to ask you it again in the next two examples. Now we have to wait for the market to take us in. Every candlestick represents 1 hour of trading. 1, 2, 3. It takes 3 hours for the market to buy us in. Now my entry buy automatically becomes a market buy. I'm physically buying the market. What's the first thing I want to do? I asked you to write this down earlier. Ronnie, love it. Thomas, love it. If you said cancel the opposite order, you're absolutely correct. Now, when buying the market, your stop's going to go a little bit different. Okay, there's no need to push your stop 5 pips below the low because of the bid and the ask price. When buying the market, you can actually place your stop at the low. So this is stop is at the low when buying. For those of you that do not know why, it's because of the bid and the ask price, the buy and sell price. If that confuses you, don't let it. Just understand, hey, when you buy, stop's at the low. Now, if I measure out my risk, and the risk involved in this trade is 30 pips, what is my reward? What is my reward? What's first base reward? What's first base? 50 pips, first base. Your reward will always be at least 50 pips. At least, always. The only time you push it out beyond 50 pips is if your risk is larger than 50 pips. Okay, so every candlestick represents 1 hour of trading. Let's see what takes place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within 5 hours, you hit your target at first base. Within 5 hours, trading standard position. Not only did you make 50 pips, but you also made $500 US. So